Good morning, Fleetwood. It is Friday, April 14th, 2023, day 5 in the 6-day cycle. Olivia stopped by Women's Empowerment Club to see what they're all about. Let's take a look.
Women's Empowerment Club is a club at Fleetwood Area High School, advised by Miss Rankin, where students get together every Friday at 2:30 in either Miss Rankin's room or the library to learn about women's struggles and help empower them. The inspiration to create this club was to help empower women due to the discrimination women face here at Fleetwood Area High School.
Actually, it was kind of just like the way I've heard people talking about women, and I didn't like it. So I wanted to make a change to that. I wanted this club to be kind of like a safe haven for people of any gender, really, so they could be heard and respected.
The process of creating Women's Empowerment Club started by gathering a group of friends with the same feminist views to further start this club in hopes of creating a safe space for not only women, but also students, no matter their gender.
So I started the end of my sophomore year. I just kind of like gathered some of my friends that I thought were also feminists, and then we went to Miss Rankin and we were like, hey, we want to create this club. Can you make this happen for us? And she did.
If you are interested in being a member of Women's Empowerment Club, you can contact Ms. Rankin at any time. Reporting for Tiger TV News, I'm Olivia Walker.
Thanks, Olivia. On Wednesday, the library hosted the Blood Drive. Students, staff, and community members turned out to donate blood in the effort to save lives. Over the course of the day, Miller Keystone was able to collect 62 units of blood. While that was short of our 70-unit goal, it is still enough to save over 180 people. Just before break, the Student Council teamed up with OLI to put on this year's Minithon. Taylor stopped in to see how that event went.
On March 31st, Fleetwood and OLI had their annual Minithon by teaming up together to defeat cancer. There were various activities held throughout the night, including Zumba, a volleyball tournament, a hypnotist show, and other fun events. The final amount of money that was raised was $7,628, beating Student Council's goal of $5,000. If you missed out on Minithon, don't worry, the Mr. Fleetwood pageant will be held on the April 19th half day. Get excited to see some of your favorite seniors compete for the titles of People's Choice, Mr. Popularity, and Mr. Fleetwood. Reporting for Tiger TV News, I'm Taylor Clark.
Thanks, Taylor. That's all we have for general news. Let's check in with Ben for sports.
Thank you, Ian. In local sports, softball lost to Berks Catholic yesterday, bringing their record to 4-4. Boys volleyball played Governor Mifflin yesterday, winning and bringing the record to 4-3. Baseball sits at 5-5 and plays Pottville tomorrow at home at 12. Right before spring break, Fleetwood played Upper Perkiomen. Let's check in with James to see how that went.
The Fleetwood Tigers went up against the Upper Perkman Indians and lost 2-0. Jake Carnish was the starting pitcher for the Tigers, and Evan Wittig was the pitcher for Upper Perkman. Jake Carnish got one strikeout in the first inning. In the second inning, Fleetwood hit a double but wasn't able to capitalize for a run. At the top of the third inning, Upper Perkman bunted into an out. Later in the inning, Aiden Sumis caught the ball and threw it to home plate to turn it into a double play to end the inning. In the top of the fourth inning, Jake pitched another strikeout after a ground out. In the fifth inning, Jake got another strikeout, and in the bottom of the inning, Fleetwood had gotten a single but once again wasn't able to turn the hit into a run. In the sixth inning, Jake struck out another batter.
The season's still early, so we got a long ways away. So we just got to stay on the path, keep putting that work into practice, and just hope for the best.
At the end of the game, in the seventh inning, Fleetwood was in scoring position with a runner on third, but was stopped after getting a ground out to first to end the game.
Fleetwood's a really good team. They went to states last year. They have a really good, impressive group of guys, and I just got the best today, and it all worked out well.
Way too fast.
The final score was 2-0 Upper Perkman. Reporting for Tiger TV News, I'm James Temick.
Track and field has also gotten their season underway. Teddy checked in to see how things are getting started.
The Fleetwood track and field season opened up on March 6th, allowing returning athletes and new athletes to start finding what events they are most passionate about. Track and field has a large variety of events for both boys and girls that allow almost any athlete to participate. The opening season allows new student athletes to find out what their special skills are and where they fit in best.
You know, one of the things about track is typically we say there's something for everybody. There's in a typical meet, there's 18 events for boys and girls, including the relays. So we have a lot of kids that know where they want to be and what they're doing, throwers, particular sprinters, but a lot of kids are just finding their way right now and trying new events, and we'll see where they're best at and what they like the most.
The athletes have been training and honing in on their skills for their first dual meets in the following weeks, which every student can participate in. The team's first invitational is also approaching, which the head coach, Coach Zeller, has high hopes for.
The dual meets in particular, everyone gets to participate, which is nice, and we can have everybody there. Our first invitational of the year is in about 2 weeks at Tulpehocken, and we've done well at that meet in the past, and I think we can do well this year also and possibly win it. I think there's 15 schools there, and we'll be well represented.
With the track and field season underway, the student athletes and coaches are all very excited to see how the teams stand up against other schools. The competition is fierce, but the track and field team seems to have a great chance at being one of the best. Reporting for Tiger TV News, I'm Theodore Cayley.
In the wider world of sports, after their World Series appearance last season, the Philadelphia Phillies have struggled in the opening stretch of games, with the record of 4-9, leaving many fans very disappointed. They play the Reds tonight at 6:40. But at least Philadelphia fans have something to look forward to as the first round of the NBA playoffs begins tomorrow, with the 76ers playing the Brooklyn Nets. The Sixers haven't lost a game to the Nets yet this season, so we're potentially looking at a pretty easy first round. And that should just about wrap it up for this week in sports. Let's send it back to the news desk.
Thanks, Ben. Next up is our weekly segments. First, let's see Random Ramblings with Mr. Casolo.
All right, Cup of Destiny, here we go with aliens. As a science teacher, I'm not really sure how I answer that, but the odds that we're the only life form in the universe seems implausible to me. Billion stars in the Milky Way, so on and so on, all the billions of galaxies, all of that stuff. It doesn't seem like the odds would suggest that we're the only thing out there. Do I believe they're the big green alien? I'm not sure about that. I wouldn't have any idea of what form they would be. And years ago, somebody said if there were other life forms out there and they came to Earth, they would obliterate us because they'd be so far of us. So I'm going to say aliens has to be because of the odds.
Awesome. Hey, I got to tell you, Mr. Casolo, that was out of this world. All right, next, let's check out This Week in History.
On April 11, 1957, the British government allows the island colony of Singapore to govern itself under a new constitution agreed in London. Great Britain will continue to control external affairs and defense. On April 12, 1942, Americans attack 4 Japanese invasion bases in relation for bombing of Pearl Harbor.
700 bombers dropped incendiary and block-busting canisters of high explosive in an operation grimly codenamed Gomorrah.
On April 13, 1976, the $2 bill issued nationwide with a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and John Trumbull's portrait of the Declaration on the back. On April 14, 1952, a B-36 bomber failed to take off from Fairchild Air Force Base. This was the world's largest bomber with 10 engines. Out of the 17 crew members, 15 were killed at takeoff. That's all for This Week in History. I'm Elijah Dove, reporting for Tiger TV News.
Thanks, Eli. Now let's tune in to Culture Check with Ava.
Hello and welcome back to Culture Check. I'm your host, Ava, and on April 4th, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin L. Bragg Jr. announced the indictment of former President Donald Trump. After the case was presented to a grand jury in Manhattan, the decision was made to indict him. Trump's advisors observed that Trump will never face an unbiased jury. One stated, "There is no way he gets a fair jury. What are they going to say? Have you ever heard of Donald Trump? Have you been living under a rock?" Trump was indicted for 34 counts of falsifying New York business records before and after the 2016 election in order to conceal damaging information and unlawful activity from American voters. Multiple accounts of this falsification can be found throughout Trump's campaign and presidency, starting no more than 12 days before the 2016 general presidential election, when Trump's special counsel wired $130,000 to an attorney named Daniel Cohn to then be given to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, an offense that caused Cohn to be sentenced to 4 years in prison. The payment was made through a shell corporation funded through a bank in Manhattan and is suspected to be quote-unquote hush money to cover up for an affair that Trump had with Daniels. Trump's next hearing will take place on December 4th, where the judge will rule on all motions, although the case will likely not begin until early to mid-2024. This case makes Donald Trump the first current or former president to ever be charged with a crime. And with that, I'm Ava Crossley, and this has been your Weekly Culture Check.
Thanks, Ava. That's all we have for you today. Have an amazing Friday and a spectacular weekend.